That is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Before we get started, you guys, you know what I'm gonna ask, but hook your boy up. Don't forget to like the video, share, but most importantly, subscribe to the channel, you guys. We are pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the support. Now that we got that out the way, let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Okay. So there's two different topics I want to talk about today, you guys. The first topic's going to be a little bit quicker, so I want to start with that. It's kind of piggybacking from yesterday's episode. Now, if you didn't see yesterday's episode, I strongly implore you to watch it after this video because it's going to make a lot of sense. But long story short, in yesterday's video, I talked about Pat Riley's season-ending press conference. You know, how much stuff we learned, what are the signs, what are the hints that we're seeing. One of the main things that I thought was the fact that Pat Riley was talking great about Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, saying that he hopes that Tyler stays here for the rest of his career, saying that he wants to put another player around Tyler. It tells me that Pat Riley is going to go after that superstar level player. Now, the Miami Heat are going to have several options this offseason. Even if they're trying to go for a huge splash, it's because they have time to do that. Free agency doesn't start until the beginning of July, and you can start negotiating trades as soon as, the draft. So the Miami Heat are going to try to be players. Now, if they can't trade for a whale, then you're going to have the offseason to figure out what you want to do with this team. Do you want to retool? Do you want to rebuild? So the Heat are going to have different options. But I will say this. One thing that I talked about in yesterday's episode is that from the signs of what Pat Riley was saying, I think he was going to go after Kevin Durant. The main reason why is because Kevin Durant is a player that you can actually trade for and you can possibly keep both Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. So that way you don't have to give up either player. If you're going to go for some of these superstar level players like Giannis, John Morant, Trae Young, you're probably going to have to give up one of these two players between Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. So I believe that Pat Riley is going to try to try to trade for a superstar level player next to Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. So that's what I think Pat Riley's going for. And Kevin Durant is that guy. He has an expiring contract. There's beef between him and Phoenix, so I can see that potentially happening. After I posted that video, it was reported in Hoops Hype and multiple outlets that the Miami Heat and the Minnesota Timberwolves are expected to have trade interest in Kevin Durant. And I'll read this report. This is from Mark Stein. So one of the best inside reporters in the NBA. This is the guy that you listen to. He says, the Miami Heat are frequently forecasted as a team along with Minnesota expected to show trade interest this offseason in Phoenix Kevin Durant. What sort of clues Pat Riley drops, clues about his team building approach in the wake of a 37-45 campaign and painful first-round exit sweep inflicted by Cleveland. Yeah, that was bad. So right there, you guys, I'm telling you, it makes the most sense. Kevin Durant doesn't have a long contract. He gives you the cap flexibility that you're looking for after 2026. Now, if he plays great with you and you want to extend him for another year, fine. But I think Kevin Durant is a guy that can help the Miami Heat now. And I saw the comments in my video yesterday where people were like, Kevin Durant is not the solution. He is a temporary solution. He's not a splash like a Luka Doncic, but you have to wait for that. The Heat are going to have a lot of cap flexibility after next season. But if you're trading for Kevin Durant, it's because you're trying to contend next season. Because if we bring this team back, this same team, at best, playing. At best, maybe they can be a 6th seed or a 5th seed if they go on a long winning streak. Maybe if they have a training camp together, they can shock people. But what defenses are going to do. They're going to collapse on Tyler Hero, and they're going to tell the other players, beat us. And the Miami Heat have a really hard time doing that. So you need another prolific scorer next to Tyler, a guy that can give you 25 points to 40 points any given night. That's Kevin Durant. Now, if you want to know more about that, go on to yesterday's episode because I gave a full detail about it. But today's episode, I want to go on with the next topic and talk about something a little bit different because the Miami Heat, you guys, they're going to have a little bit of flexibility as well because this upcoming off season, for the first time in a long time, the Miami Heat are not going to be over the luxury cap. I believe they're going to be about $9 million under. So what that means is that now that the Miami Heat are not completely over the luxury cap, having Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, all these contracts that were about $20 to $30 million that ate you up so much, you're going to have a little bit of flexibility. The Miami Heat are going to have exceptions. One is the mid-level exception, and then one is the biannual exception. Now, the one that I want to talk about in today's episode is the mid-level exception. The reason why is because it's going to be a lot. And the Miami Heat can use that amount, guys, on a player that can really help us now. And there's 5 particular players that I want to talk about. The first player is someone easy. It would be a returning player, Davion Mitchell. Now, I'm sorry, I forgot to go over this. So the Miami Heat are going to have about up to $14.1 million in the mid-level exception. So you can use that in one player. You can split it up for 2 players. You can use it how you see fit. Now, it may change if you make a trade and take more cap relief. So that's a possibility to change. The Heat are $9 million under the luxury cap this year, so they're going to be able to have their exception. Now, if they make a trade, let's say Kevin Durant, and they're not giving up as much cap space and they're taking more money, then the mid-level exception would go down. But this is an idea if the Heat would have the full mid-level exception. Now, the first option is Davion Mitchell. Now, we know from Davion Mitchell, you guys, he made $6.4 million this past season. He is going to have his qualifying offer, which the Miami Heat will extend to him. It'll be for about $8.7 million. So what that means is if Davion Mitchell accepts the qualifying offer, which most likely he will, and a team does not give him an offer, he will be signed for that amount next season. However, if another team offers him a contract, which most likely they will because of how he played this year, if another team offers him a contract, the Miami Heat would have about, I believe it's 5 days to match that offer. And if they don't match that offer, well, then he goes to that other team. So the Miami Heat need to make a decision on what they want to do with Davion Mitchell. They need to find out how much he's worth to bring back. Most likely, he's going to be worth most of this mid-level exception. I could see Davion Mitchell get anywhere from 3 to 4 year contract, around $30 to $33 million. If it's 4 years, maybe a little bit more. I mean, less. Like I look at the type of contract that Gabe Vincent got with the LA Lakers. Something like around $10 million a year. So would the Miami Heat want to bring back Davion Mitchell? It gives them also cap. It's also going to be in the cap space the next few years. Do you want to take that cap space? But Davion Mitchell did have a great year with the Heat. He played 30 games, started 15 of them, 10.3 points a game, 5 assists, almost 3 rebounds, 50% from the field, 44% from the three-point line with the Miami Heat. You know what he does defensively? If it takes almost a mid-level exception to bring him back, it is what it is. Hopefully, it's just a qualifying offer. Because if he comes back with a qualifying offer, then you can offer another player the mid-level exception. So that would be pretty cool. The next player I want to talk about, you guys, Dennis Schroeder. Now, Dennis Schroeder originally was a part of the Miami Heat trade that came here, and he was sent and then he was sent to Detroit. So I don't know if the Miami Heat would really entertain bringing him, but man, I mean, Dennis Schroeder is a microwave off the bench. He's 31 years old, so he fits that age gap. He averaged 13.1 points a game, 5.5 assists. The man averaged, 35%, 34% from the three-point line. Not great, but Dennis Schroeder, he has his good nights and he has his bad nights. But coming off the bench, especially as a backup point guard, you can have a 1-2 punch between Dennis Schroeder and Davion Mitchell if you're able to bring them both back. I think it could work. Dennis Schroeder would be an option I'd keep a mindset about. The other one is Kevin Porter from the Milwaukee Bucks. He made the minimum salary this past season, but he did have a really good year with the Milwaukee Bucks. Played 75 games, averaged 20 minutes a game. And in those 20 minutes, you guys, 10.3 points a game, almost 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists. That's a player that can give you great spark off the bench. He's a shooting guard. He's going to be he can be that 3-level monster if you can bring back Davion Mitchell himself with Tyler Hero. He kind of does the same things that Alec Burks does, but, does them a little bit better. Kevin Porter might be someone to look at. Now, this is a player that I really want to look at. This is a player that I think would be great for the Miami Heat. Steven Adams. Steven Adams, you guys. Steven Adams made about the mid-level exception this year, $12.6 million. But the reason why I love Steven Adams is because he's a dog, which is something the Miami Heat desperately need. Desperately need. Also, if you bring in Steven Adams, you're going to have a 3-level monster of Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware, and Steven Adams rotating in that power forward center position. At any time when you have two of those players out there, it's going to work for you. Steven Adams, like I just mentioned, brings that dog in the team. It's going to help them. It's going to help them get tougher. Miami got punked out a lot against Cleveland in the playoffs. I like Steven Adams. And when you look at his numbers, it's nothing special. He averaged 4 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, but only 13 and a half minutes a game. And I understand giving Steven Adams the full mid-level exception might be a little crazy. Maybe you can talk him down a little bit less, like $8 to $10 million, especially a year, especially since the Heat don't have state income taxes in the state of Florida. He gets a lot of that money back. Andy Ellsberg is the best numbers guy in the game. But Steven Adams gave Houston a different dynamic this year, you guys. They were the number one rebounding team in the NBA. And if you have Steven Adams, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware, you can kind of get the same thing. And that'll help the Heat win a lot of games because we're predicated on defense. And he can help with that. And then the final option, you guys, would be a guy who went off in the playoffs, Gary Trent Jr., who was on a minimum contract this season and showed out in the playoffs. Had a great season also, you guys. He played, let me see here. How many games did he play? 74 games with Milwaukee. He averaged 11 points a game, 41% from the three-point line. He had 2 monster 30-point games in the playoffs. Really helped Milwaukee when Damian Lillard went down. You know what he can bring. He can provide scoring power. He can maybe even play better with this Miami Heat system, especially next to Tyler Hero. That's something this Miami Heat team needs. Someone else besides Tyler that you can go to and say, get us a bucket. If you trade for Kevin Durant and you have Tyler Hero with a Gary Trent, that could work. But even if you're not able to trade for Kevin Durant and you say, let's run it back with this team 1 year and give cap flexibility for 2026, well, then you can sign someone like Gary Trent along with this team and say, let's see what they can do. That's what I'm talking about, you guys. And that's why I brought up these 5 players, because I understand that Heat fans would be pissed if this team would run it back for another year. But the reason why Pat Riley would do that is because he sees potential in this current team, but he may not trade for that whale. He may not be able to trade for the Kevin Durant, Giannis. So you run it back for another year because after next season, you're going to have huge cap flexibility. Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson are going to be off your books. If Andrew Wiggins opts out of his contract, that gets out of your books as well. That's over $70 million in cap space. Now you can go after that player and put next to Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. So I understand if the Miami Heat would run it back for another year, only if they couldn't trade for that whale. Now, if they blow it up and trade Bam and Tyler and get a huge amount of draft picks, that's another option as well. But as long as Pat Riley is running this team, I don't see that happening. Something like that would only happen if Spo went to the front office and we started with a rookie coach. Even then, I don't see the Heat trading Bam. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the new report about the Miami Heat having interest in Kevin Durant? What do you think about these 5 players I named with the mid-level exception? Who would you prefer? Bringing back Davion Mitchell or signing someone new like Dennis Schroeder, Kevin Porter Jr., Steven Adams, or Gary Trent? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe there's another player you like. I'd really be interested in hearing who else you'd like. Maybe we can do another video on this. Obviously, we probably will. But thank you guys so much for the support. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe as we push for 6,000 subscribers. Until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that is enough said.